to Vegas in 2020, and there you see their bright, new, shiny Collegiate Stadium. But the pandemic has forced us and so many others to dramatically alter our plans. We're here sharing a message of hope and some of the iconic stars of Las Vegas. There you see John Gruden. Knock on wood if you're with me, John. Knock on wood if you're with me. And there's Mike Mayock, who spent a lot of years analyzing this draft, taken up here. So let's go back to Daniel Jeremiah. Jeremiah, what are you thinking about what the Raiders may do with the first of their 2 picks here?
Well, I thought it would be either corner or receiver here, and I think with C.J. Henderson already being selected, I would think that points towards a wide receiver. They need to find a Z receiver to replace Antonio Brown. They were so excited about that pick, and obviously bringing him into the building did not work. I think they find his replacement right here. I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb would be my guess here for the Raiders.
All right, Daniel Jeremiah is in on CeeDee Lamb going to the Raiders. We'll see what happens here. We believe that the pick is close to coming in. In fact, I can confirm that the pick is in to Commissioner Goodell. Let's find out. Does Daniel Jeremiah know what he's talking about? I mean, he does, but you know.
There are many first-evers that are part of this draft, including the first-ever official draft selection by the Las Vegas Raiders. And I've got it right here. So with the 12th pick of the 2020 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Henry Ruggs, wide receiver, Alabama. Congratulations, Raiders. Congratulations, Henry.
Well, there you see Henry Ruggs. Daniel, you nailed the position, but not the player. Henry Ruggs is a fascinating football player. Just so you know, he had 98 catches at Alabama. 24 of them went for touchdowns. In other words, 25% of the time when he caught the ball, he took it to the house. And when he celebrated those touchdowns, you always saw him throw up 3 fingers. That was for his friend, Roderick Scott. They played high school basketball together. And one weekend they were supposed to drive in the same car to a high school tournament. Ruggs was feeling under the weather, had the flu, didn't go. Scott was in a one-man car crash on the highway that trip and was killed in that crash. And Henry Ruggs celebrates his honor throwing up that 3 every time you see him score a touchdown. John Gruden, very happy that he's got the burner that ran the 4.27, as is Mike Mayock. Hi, Mike. Make sure the dog is taken care of. But if you want to talk about an athlete, my God, watch what Henry Ruggs does playing basketball. It was absolutely a rim obliteration. He was jumping from everywhere to throw it down at Robert Lee High School. So you know he can play hoops. You know he can fly. His mom once unofficially was clocked at a 4.23 40. He can absolutely scoot, Michael Irvin, and he can take it to the house no matter where he gets the ball.
Yeah, and we knew, Trey, that this was a possibility because of that 4.27 speed. And let's remember now, the Raiders, what do they have to do? They have to face that thing they have in Kansas City with Tyreek Hill. So they wanted to match speed for speed. They wanted to match explosion for explosion. When they score, when Kansas City score, now the Raiders will be able to come right back and score fast. This kid can run fast, but he also goes up high and grab that ball, just like you saw him dunking the basketball.
You know, one thing about Ruggs, Michael, you talk about that speed, he didn't have the drops, and I think the production wasn't up to the level of Jerry Jeudy. But you talk about 4 first-round receivers that Tua was throwing to. Ruggs, and obviously this year Jerry Jeudy, and then next year Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith. So a lot of talent, only one football. Ruggs, though, with that speed. I'm sure John Gruden with the Raiders. Cliff Branch had a heck of a career in the NFL with that kind of speed and that kind of ability to go vertical and beat you deep. And that's what Henry Ruggs III will be asked to do with the Las Vegas Raiders. Lewis?
The interesting thing about Henry Ruggs is this. He's just not a deep threat. What he really is, he's a catch-and-run threat. And they did a great job at Alabama of doing that, getting him the ball quick, and then letting him absolutely just slice through the defense and have those tremendous running catch type situations. He's a guy who will catch the ball out of the backfield. He's a guy who can play all 3 positions on the wide receiver. And he's a guy who, DJ, I think the number one thing that he really can do is he can also give you some reps on special teams if you needed him to. to, but getting drafted this high, I have a feeling he won't see very much action on that phase of the game.
And look, Lewis, talking to Mike Mayock this week, he talked about Josh Jacobs running for over 1,100 yards into crowded boxes last year. You put Henry Ruggs on this field, you're going to scare safeties out of there. You're going to have a lot more room for Josh Jacobs to run. And also add Darren Waller at tight end. He ran in the mid-4.4s. Now you've got Henry Ruggs, who ran in the mid-4.2s. This Raider team got fast real quick.
Can we all just take a moment to acknowledge what we're seeing here? Michael Irvin, you of all people have to appreciate this. Henry Ruggs is swagging out in a robe. He's just chilling in a robe. Michael, that's what you wore in the pre-draft meeting.
Yeah, and that tells you something about that wide receiver right there. He's letting you know. Big plays, touchdown. He's right at home with that. That's why he's wearing his robes. He's making a statement early. And the Raiders hope that he can make that statement late when he gets on the football field.
Listen, I knew you would appreciate the robe, Michael. Just so you know, from 1985 to 2010, no Alabama wide receivers were taken in the first round. And now we've gotten 4 in the last 5 years. And quite frankly, I'm going to make a pretty safe bet that we're going to get a 5th one in Jerry Jeudy coming off the board at some time in this first round. But for more on all of this, let's check in with our fine ESPN insider, Adam Schefter. Hey, Adam.
Trey, we are 12 picks into this draft, and we have yet to see a single trade. Not one team has traded out of its draft slot. We had Detroit at number 3 taking calls, but no team ever made an offer for them. Miami didn't make an offer. The Chargers didn't make an offer. Same thing with the Giants at number 4. We thought there would be other teams that would move. No one did in the top 10 picks for the first time since 2015. We're now at a pick right now where the 49ers are going to trade
for the Oakland Raiders. Remember, they dealt away Amari Cooper. They dealt away Khalil Mack. They had 3 first-round picks last year. One of them was a home run, Josh Jacobs. Jonathan Abrams was hurt, never really saw. And Cleveland Ferrell didn't really translate what they thought they'd get with the 4th overall pick. Meanwhile, what will they do with their 2nd pick here in the first round? The pick is in. Let's go to the commissioner and find out what the Las Vegas Raiders are doing.
We thought it would be fitting here at pick 19, as the Las Vegas Raiders welcome their 2nd selection, to make a special announcement. As you may know, we are scheduled to host a draft in in Vegas this year. And we thank so many for the effort they put forth to prepare that possibility. And we think you deserve another shot. So we're happy here to announce that tonight, the Las Vegas Raiders will host the 2020 NFL Draft. Congratulations to Mark Davis, the Raiders organization, and Raiders Nation. We look forward to being there in Las Vegas, and congratulations. And now, with the 19th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Damon Arnette, defensive back, Ohio State.
All right, first of all, congratulations to Las Vegas getting the mulligan. We'll be there in a couple years as we will do the draft from there. But this is a fascinating decision here on a lot of levels by Damon Arnette. This was a kid that had basically decided his college career was over a year ago at cornerback and didn't even show up for some post-season meetings with Ohio State. But then it was a conversation with his father, Chris Carter, the Ohio State Buckeye wide receiver and Hall of Famer, that said, you need to come back for another year at school to be the best player you can be. And now we thought we'd see a 2nd or 3rd round grade on Damon Arnette. How surprised are you that he's in the first round?
Early 2nd round grade. I think you look at that 3rd corner, Trey. We have been saying, who's the 3rd corner? You could never build a consensus on who that 3rd corner was. After Jeff Okudah, Ohio State, and C.J. Henderson, Florida, DJ, you just couldn't find that guy. Who that 3rd corner was. A.J. Terrell's already been taken by Atlanta, maybe a little higher than we thought. And here, Damon Arnette, I'll tell you, he played through that injury. He tackled well. And when you're opposite Jeff Okudah, you're going to have action. And he held up very well. So I think the corners are reaching a little bit, DJ, because they're forcing these needs. Because, like I say, that 3rd corner was very much up in the air.
Yeah, and for me, Mel, he was my 8th corner. So I think people had that 3rd corner in all different orders. You know, one thing I'll say about Arnette, while I was surprised that he went this high, He's very competitive, and that fits with what they've tried to do in building this team over the last couple years. A very physical, very competitive kid who can really find and play the football, which you've got to have at that position, Lewis. Look, his kid is tough, he's physical, and he can find the ball. I just thought it was a little bit earlier than I expected.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit earlier than a lot of people expected. But when you watch the film and you watch Jeffrey Okudah and then you watch Damon Arnette, look, I can tell you this. He actually plays from a technique standpoint just as well as Okudah in many respects, especially when you're talking about playing press coverage. He's very good at staying patient at the line, very physical with his hands, very physical down the field as far as not allowing wide receivers to create separation with their body. And he is a guy who's a finisher. I think it's a little bit higher than maybe some people expected, but when you really break down his game, he really is a good cover corner who really should develop into a very good pro.
Well, listen, he was a guy that listened to the people that were telling him, you need to come back and you will improve your draft status. And that's exactly what he did. We thought it was going to be improving to a second or third round pick. Instead, he goes to the Raiders with the 19th overall pick in the first round. By the way, second time in the last 4 drafts, the Buckeyes have had at least 2 first-round defensive backs and had 3 back in 2017. Put your feet up, John. You're done for the night.
You're watching the 2020 NFL Draft.